Merry Christmas, everyone. This
Happiest of
week's.
holidays. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, just say happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yes, indeed. From all of us here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Now, let's get started. On this week's episode, The Matrix gets resurrected. Hawkeye finds its target. And what are Melinda's best and worst in pop culture for 2021? All this and more as we say Merry Christmas and reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review in our stocking. Plus, if you can go ahead and like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, the Lakers Fast Break, Vampires and Vitae, plus PopCultureCosmos.com, and the fact that we are the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. And I'm so sad I could not be able to attend the Monday showing of the Demolition Force because, as I told Melinda, I was all full of shopping bags right there in the middle of the mall.
Yeah,
I was that guy.
Yeah, 'tis the season. Yeah, for sure.
Tis the season.
We have a new player, and it's a girl, and I'm so excited because now I'm not the only girl in the gang anymore. So it's wonderful.
That's great news, and I can't wait to join back up again and flow my locking hair as Shamad Khan. But yes, I was actually watching it with one couple fingers on my phone, watching you guys while I had like 5-6 bags on me, and my wife, and my kids just went back and forth to a store. Here's another bag, Dad. Here's another bag. Here's another bag. So I'm sitting in the middle of the mall, just sitting there going, okay, Merry Christmas to me. But I would like to be back part of adventure. I don't know what's going on for next week on the Demolition Force. Maybe something else will be there instead. So we'll see what happens there. But there are great games in the RPG land that we do because we're the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. And if you check us out, we also keep you updated on the latest news and trends of pop culture right there on Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. She is our own Jolly Elf for the PCC Multiverse and Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing today at popculturecosmos.com. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing with Vampires and Vitae, Rob's Whimsical One Shot, which is run by her husband, but we all know who actually runs the game instead. Plus, you also have Warlocks and Whiskey. You also have Wizards and Wine, and all the things that she does, she's put on hiatus except for V&V until next year. But you got to go ahead and check out all the back episodes today that are on Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts. It is my good friend who I wish a truly Merry Christmas to. It is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you here. Happy holidays, safe holidays, and a truly Merry Christmas to both you and Robbie Ross.
Oh gosh, same to you and the whole fam jam, man. For real.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. All right. Hoping you get everything that you're asking for under the tree. And if you don't, you go ahead and you just, tap Robbie on the head and go, order it for me now.
Yeah, right. May you get everything you wish for the holidays and enough money to spend on Boxing Day.
There you go. Absolutely. We can't forget about Boxing Day because that is a true, being that you are an awesome Canadian and spent 20 years in Canadian radio, you got to go ahead and make sure you give a shout out for Boxing Day because we don't do that enough here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. So
sure, yeah.
We wish our good friends in Canada a truly amazing Boxing Day. Kwanzaa, we hope everybody that celebrates that has had a truly great Kwanzaa. And please, everyone stay safe around the world that listens to us. We truly cannot thank you enough for doing so. It is our Christmas present to you, a wonderful show today. And you know what? We got a lot of things lined up for the show today, including your best and worst in pop culture for 2021. Melinda has her stack. She has her list. She has her naughty and nice list.
I have multiple post-its, Gerald. multiple
Yes.
Post-its.
Multiple Post-its for the naughty and nice list for 2021. You notice how I got that naughty and nice in there, that Christmas thing going? All
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
Digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. But she's got that coming up on the back half of the show. Plus, also as well, we're going to be talking about Hawkeye, the season one, which I'm hoping there will be more of. Episode 6, we're going to be talking about that. There will be spoilers, but we will also be talking about what if there's going to be, hopefully be a season 2. We're going to be talking about that and just the overall season thoughts on that, just to give you everybody a thoughts, our final thoughts on the season itself, and just talk about Hawkeye season 1 episode 6 as well, because it truly ended on a what I think was a really good note. Plus, also we're going to be reviewing the Matrix Resurrections. Was it a grand return for Neo and Trinity, or was it a game over, so to speak? So we'll talk about that coming up on the show. Plus, also we will be talking briefly about the new trailer, which is actually kind of a non-new trailer because it actually appeared at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, which was a kind of like a post-credit end scene, which was a trailer. I don't know. It just would seem kind of lazy by Marvel, but we'll talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming up here in a bit. And of course, we've got a lot to talk about here on today's show. But first up, I want to ask you if you can give everybody an update of what's going on with your awesome show, Vampires and Vitae.
Yeah, so all of the characters are back together, so the party is not split anymore, which is really good. We had a bit more of a look inside the Church of Day and the Book of Vol, and what all of that was about, and what the repercussions were for the hunters who invaded our lair in the Statue of Liberty. It just sounds so crazy as I say it out loud. But yeah, so we had some hunters infiltrate, and they did some bad things, and we found out that there is a bit of a growing subsection of the Church of Day, which is kind of fanaticizing. Is that a
Yeah,
anyways, so
that's
they're
just
they're
that's
they're skewing what the Church of Day and the Book of Vol is all about. Um and yeah, so we're all back together now, though. That's really important. And there is a character that an NPC that we refer to as Spooky Boy. His name is Sebastian, and he seems to have it out for my character, and I'm a little bit concerned about it, to be honest.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so to keep this drama going alive, where do people need to check you out as far as the Vampires and Vitae show is concerned?
Sure. So you can find us in podcast form on like all of the podcast platforms. And if you're interested in watching the live stream, or you want to go back and watch the old videos, you can find us on YouTube and on Facebook as well.
There you go. That's again Vampires and Vitae. Please go ahead and check it out today wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, back episodes can be found as well on the Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook.
Hmm.
But it is, I feel like we should have like the theme music for Matrix with the stuff like falling down, the letters and all that, the code falling down, just like, because it's time to talk the Matrix Resurrections as it appears this week to theaters and HBO Max. Also in theaters is The Kingsman, which is a prequel to the famous Kingsman series, and of course Sing 2, which is also out in theaters. They're both actually all three of the movies are trying to vie for second place behind Spider-Man No Way Home, because there's actually no way that they're going to get the number one spot here in the
Right.
box office. But it is The Matrix Resurrections, which again is the last movie that HBO Max will go show day and date for its entire run in regards to that. So it's actually kind of like a historical move. It's the end of history, end of a great year for HBO Max, because all of their releases were day and date. They will no longer be doing that. So it's very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see, quite frankly, how HBO Max
They
lives and
survive. Yeah.
breathes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, will they sustain their subscriber bases going forward, and will they sustain their subscriber base in the future, because they're not doing day and day, because you get people weaned on something
Hmm.
and then you take it away from them and
Hmm.
you expect them to pay the same price, and it's going to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, okay, you're going to have to give us something else in exchange. and I don't see that happening. As far as that's concerned, and maybe it's something that HBO and Warner Brothers will actually look back upon and say maybe we have to correct ourselves or whatever. But yeah, something is going to have to go ahead and change, and I think it's not for the best for HBO Max. But it is the Matrix Resurrections, for better or for worse. And I have a feeling you're going to tell me your thoughts on it here in a minute. But it is the return of Neo and Trinity to the Matrix universe, so to speak. And I mean, this movie. I mean, I know that Facebook is trying to call itself Meta and the metaverse and all that stuff, but when it truly comes to meta and the metaverse, you cannot get more meta, even if you tried, than the Matrix Resurrections. And I'm not sure that was for the best, but I'm going to leave it with you first, and then I'll share my entire thoughts on the Matrix Resurrections. And there will be spoilers if you so choose to go ahead and share them. So I want to let everybody know out there will be spoilers, because I think at this point in time, if you're going to go ahead and check it out, you're going to go ahead and check it out, especially because it's easily available on HBO Max.
Yes. Where do I start?
Where do you want to start?
It felt like a half of an idea for a movie, for starters. After that, it felt cheap.
Okay.
It's like visually, it didn't compare to other things that we're watching on TV right now, and I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if it was like bad lighting throughout the movie, or if I'm just
throwing that. I'm just doing the only thing that they could really do in the movie was just like put the Matrix push. Yeah, the Matrix push, because that's the only thing that they could do. The special effects were quite disappointing for something that was so cutting edge in 1999. To have it still look better than anything in this movie is very depressing.
Yes.
Quite frankly. And
Yes.
you go into it with a whole bunch of enthusiasm to recreate that, because again, I'm not a huge fan, and I said this on the show, of the second and third movies, because the action lessened and the talking and the theological debates and the theorizing began, and that's when it just turned me off as a viewer, because I don't really want to sit there for 10 minutes while you're talking about the theories and subtle things that are trying to go be underneath, as far as when you're dealing with all the religious and other aspects of what you're trying to go ahead and come across with. And it was really disappointing in those second and third movies. And then we get to this movie and we thought, okay, maybe Lana Wachowski has learned her lesson. Maybe she's going to go ahead and make sure this is tight, this is compact, this is action packed, this still gets across a good story. The first Matrix is one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion. It's a nice, compact, very good story that tells a great narrative, that showcases outstanding cutting edge special effects.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the Matrix Resurrections could not do any of that. It's overly long. It's not like it's over an hour, probably over an hour longer than it needed to be. It's really incoherent at times. It doesn't stay astray on its. It goes astray on its own story. What happened to Mr. Smith's character? He just disappears at the end, just like he's gone, because he transported himself, as far as controlled all these other, everybody else in the Matrix, as far as I was trying to kill Neo and Trinity. But then he is not the true bad guy. It's actually Neil Patrick Harris. But conveniently, Mr. Smith drops in and out whenever it's necessary, supposedly.
Yeah.
And he was actually the most interesting character, was his business partner, Mr. Smith, and he is actually criminally underused. Neil Patrick Harris, he tries, but he's just not threatening as a character. That's a villainous character. So at least the way he was portrayed out in this film, and it just, the whole thing was a mess, and the whole thing just seemed like you said, like one great idea just taken to the extreme. They did too many flashbacks. They just forced it down your throat. They almost put a half hour of the original Matrix movie into this movie.
What was the budget for this film? Because give me that money and I will show you what I can do with vampires and Vitae, and we will tell our own little coherent story. that has plot hooks and little bits of information for you to collect along the way. Please give me a couple of $1 million and let us do our thing and put it up against the Matrix movie, this Matrix movie. And I'm telling you, we could stand beside it. That's how bad it is.
It's a really bad movie. It's one of
It was
the
shocking.
yeah, I don't want to go ahead on your list or my list or anything like that, but it's a shame. It's a very big disappointment. In fact, I think it's the biggest disappointment for me as a movie this year, in this experience. I think that it's close for me with Free Guy. I thought Free Guy was a disappointing venture for me as well, but I think this one, because the expectations after so many years coming back, people had the bad taste out of their mouths. It had already run away as far as the last two movies are concerned, and people saying, I'm ready to go ahead and get back into the Matrix and plug back into the Matrix. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, they were not ready for us, and that's just a shame.
Yeah. This is it the second thing in 2021 that Keanu was part of that was just a bit of a disaster? Like Cyberpunk 2077, that came out this year, right? Like beginning
No,
of,
that came out late last year.
was it late last year? Okay.
Yeah.
So two big projects from Keanu Reeves in 2 years that have not gone as planned.
And then we found out that John Wick 4 got pushed back this past week to 2023 in a new trailer. Or well, it's not actually kind of, it is kind of, and it's kind of not kind of, it doesn't have anything to do, it doesn't have actual Keanu Reeves in the trailer. It just has it's actually kind of like a teaser. And they just mentioned that it is coming in March of 2023. It's been pushed back officially.
Yeah.
So that's kind of disappointing on top of all of it. So it wasn't a great week for Keanu Reeves, but it is still earning money around the world. Whether or not it earns a decent cash amount, we'll wait and see. But Matrix Resurrections was kind of disappointing for both of us. In fact, we really did not like it and cannot recommend it. It's something that, again, it's too long, it's over bloated, it's too meta, has way too much in the flashbacks. Special effects are low budget, and really it was a disappointing effort, and really was a waste of Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves, and just
Really?
yeah, it was just truly a disappointing
What and
adventure.
what a waste of Carrie-Anne Moss. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
know.
great. That I like the fact that they were put her at the forefront as someone who is going to, instead of being the one, it's now the two, you could say. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yes.
but the way that they executed was just awful, just absolutely awful.
Yes. They should have pulled her out in the first 30 minutes of the movie,
Mhm.
right? Then you could have done your flashbacks that could have gone back to them meeting in the coffee shop and why the coffee shop was so important. I still don't quite understand.
Yeah, and what are your main battles are in a coffee shop?
Yeah,
What's up with that?
why? I mean, I'm a little ornery in the morning before I have coffee, I'll admit it, but I'm not going to go
You're not going to go Matrix
oh,
Force Push. Maybe sometimes you wish you could do that while you're waiting for your coffee. You could go ahead
get
and
the wine
Matrix
out of the
Push.
way.
Yes, like a whole crowd of people just
Right.
just leap back and just like almost like an explosion. And here goes Melinda.
You imagine? Yeah, but no, I wanted so desperately to like this movie because I'm a huge Keanu fan. I will watch I you know what? I'll probably end up watching this again just because I like Keanu and I don't know why, but I feel like it's important for me to support him. I don't know why that's a thing or why I feel like it's important, but yeah, there were a lot of problems. And I even fell asleep for a period of time and woke up and I didn't miss anything.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes, please.
I did too.
Kind of in that middle, like
Yes.
weird part, right?
I had to go back and watch the battle scene between Keanu Reeves, Neo, and Mr. Smith, the
Right.
recreation of Mr. Smith. I had to watch that because back again because I missed that because I fell asleep, and
Man, oh
that
man.
was one of the few good parts of the actual movie. So
Yeah.
it was very disappointing. It is the Matrix Resurrections. For us, we cannot recommend it. And I'm going to say right now, I don't think many people are going to. It is still amazingly on Metacritic earning around a 65. And I don't know how that is. But if you have thoughts on the Matrix Resurrections, have you caught it yet? Have you looked at this latest adventure and the recreation and the resurrection of the Matrix? We want to hear your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's still much more to talk about on today's show. Something that may please you and everyone else out there a little bit more was the season finale of Hawkeye,
Mhm.
episode 6, ending to what I feel right now is Marvel's best venture on television. Above anything Netflix, above anything Disney Plus. It is overall the best show on Netflix. It did in the episode 6 do what most of the other episodes final for Disney Plus has not done, and that is please so many people with its outcome. I think
Right.
with Loki, if depending on the age bracket that you're in, you either love it or you hate it. It's because I talk to younger people and they can't stand the ending, and I talk to people in my age group and they absolutely love the ending. So it's so funny how that is. With WandaVision, I thought it was a little bit of a letdown on the ending. It was all right. It was nothing great. Captain America and Winter Soldier, a lot of people thought it was all right. It was nothing great. It didn't close out as strong as they wanted it to. And then with What If was pretty good, but overall the episodes were up and down as far as that's concerned, in my opinion. But still, overall, I think Hawkeye has the most consistently good to great show in this MCU, in this Disney Plus series venture, and the way it ended up is just truly fantastic.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm excited to who have the Kingpin involved. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see how that's gonna get pulled into the rest of the MCU. Very excited about that because I love the actor in that role. Holy smokes, they nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Vincent D'Onofrio did another
Yeah.
great job. And we're going to go into spoilers here just to let everyone know that we are going to go into spoiler territory once again with Hawkeye episode 6 and also the overarching series itself. So be prepared to listen to a lot of Hawkeye coming up because we really liked it. First off, I want to go ahead and ask you your thoughts on how they set it up for the final battle scenes. Was that a Christmas party in honor of the Bishop security? They had a line up there, and everybody was waiting for Kate Bishop's mother, Eleanor, to go ahead and arrive. And it's funny how that they got everybody involved, everybody included at the last scene, because you not only in that area, in this whole episode, you saw not only saw Hawkeye, you also saw Hawkeye, both Hawkeyes.
Right.
You also got the Kingpin. You got Eleanor that finally came around. You got Yelena Belova that was there. You got the LARPs that were there, the live action role players that were a part of it, and they were included into this. And at the end, and so that was actually very satisfying and very unexpected. They found a new character arc and a new, very different way of as far as recreating Jack as the swordsman. So that was interesting how they portrayed him and how that was very different from what it looked like was going to be. So Jack, obviously coming off at the end as a good guy was kind of surprising to say the least. But
Sure.
yeah, just overall, and of course the Kingpin and Maya and Kazi, their arc as far as that's concerned, and how that ended up is very good. I was just very impressed with the way it ended up. Did it tie everything together in a nice, neat little bow? You did about as good as you can with 1 hour and 1 minute there, as far as
Yeah.
an episode is concerned. And the fact is, they also dropped a bombshell at the very end, which had been, speculated upon by the fans out there in regards to the what is the Rolex watch. They finally wrapped that up
Yeah.
uh, in regards to that.
I
So
love
with a
I
very
love
surprising turn.
I do love the cheeky fan service, that comes through all of these series, really. When you look at them, there's always a little bit of, well, not a little bit, there's always just enough fan service for, them to go, "Yeah, I was right. Nailed it." I like
Absolutely.
that. There's something
Yes.
satisfying about that.
Because the Rolex watch at the end was recovered by Hawkeye, along with the Ronin suit, which he finally put to rest and burnt that to a crisp on the barbecue.
Right.
And because he did make it back home for Christmas, I just want to let everybody know that he finally did make it back home for Christmas after tough battles against Yelena Belova, the tracksuit mafia. It was some hilarious scenes in there with some of the best humor I have seen from Marvel this year
Yeah.
movie or television show. It was some of the best humor in that area. You know, even the advice they even did. Okay, they did some things that WandaVision didn't do. Is that they remembered stuff from previous episodes and they gave you a call back to it. Not only the LARPing, but the advice that was given for one of the Tracksuit Mafia. They
Hmm.
gave you some other things that were the watch. Of course, they actually finished that arc. Maya, they gave her enough to go ahead and say, you know what, we're interested for her series. Do they go ahead and at the very end she does face off against Kingpin and it puts a gun to his head and you fires it but you don't see it, so does that mean he's dead? Vincent D'Onofrio is asking everybody out there that he doesn't want to be dead. He wants to go ahead and continue in the MCU, so I have a feeling that we're going to see more of him in the MCU. That's all I'll
God, I
say
hope
about
so.
that.
God, I
Yeah,
hope so.
I think so. He had a great clash with Kate Bishop as far as their fight is concerned, and
Mhm.
I thought that was really good and really creative how they even things out as far as for her end is concerned because he's so powerful. I mean, the fact that he could take arrows and just break them off was just like, whoa, hey, there you go. All right.
Right.
But yeah, and then he got hit by a car and exploded and still managed to go ahead and walk around with his Hawaiian shirt on. Just amazing that he could still do that. But yeah, just a great format. And then, of course, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. You got to see his emotional arc and finally meet up against Helena Belova. And as Helena Belova looked like he was going to go ahead and kill him, he actually had the upper hand at one time, but let go. And then she gained the upper hand and was about ready to kill him. But she finally realized exactly the truth that's going on. Although I wish he would have spelled it out more carefully to
Right.
her, like saying, hey, we were on this planet. The idea to get the stone, love, the love thing where you have to be in
Right.
love, you have to love somebody in order to go ahead and get rid, toss them off. And that I jump first and ask her, okay, if I jumped off, how would I not, how is it that she got it, she, well, Elena would understand exactly the circumstance if he spelled it out, but he spelled it out in enough generalities that she was able to get it, she was able to understand it. So if he just spelled it out a little bit more carefully, I would have appreciated that. That he sacrificed himself first and that she stopped him from doing so. So that, I think that would probably been a little bit better. But still, the episode itself was great. I want to hear more your thoughts on it before we head to the break.
Yeah, no, no, I'm just it'll be it, it'll be tragic if there isn't a two of Hawkeye.
Exactly.
It will be. It'll be tragic and a real missed and lost opportunity if they don't. But you know, giving us just enough to whet our appetite for the next movie is probably more of what these TV shows on Disney Plus are really about. So I think it's a little bit about keeping our attention between movies, and I think that Hawkeye was very successful at that. I'm excited to see the next iteration. I hope it's a new season. I have a feeling that it'll probably be quite a while before we would see it, though.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just think that there's so much in the pipe right now for the MCU that when they find a show that works, they almost have to wait until they can clear out, the backlog of stuff they have coming out before they can really sit down and start to focus on hopefully a season two.
Hopefully, it's season two indeed. And on the backside, on the other side of the break, we'll be talking about the major spoiler that was given as far as the watch is concerned, and a couple more things on Hawkeye. But before we head to the break, I did want to mention that Hawkeye is truly something that people need to go ahead and check out. It is the best show I think on Marvel television this year, and definitely the best Marvel television show I have ever seen. So if you have thoughts on it, please let us know, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But we are on the other side of this break are going to go ahead and talk about more about some of the revelations that we saw in Hawkeye, including the Rolex watch. What does it all mean? What is what are Melinda's hopes on Kingpin? Where does she think he can go from here?
Anywhere
And
he
a little,
wants to.
yes, but I'm going to ask you exactly where. So that'll be interesting to talk about. Plus, Melinda will have her best and worst in pop culture for 2021.
Yeah, some
And
of them
we'll
even
touch,
happened this year.
yes, yes. And we'll touch on the end credit scene slash trailer, which I thought, again, was a little bit lazy on Marvel's part, but it is the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, give us a true second end credits. I mean, they've done it once before, I think, where they gave us a trailer instead of an end credits, but still, I thought it was a little lazy. But still, we are going to go ahead and touch on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer here on the backside of the show as well. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with the show. It's the PCC Multiverse. It's Gerald Glassford, along with my good friend, Mrs. Melinda Barkhouse Ross, and we're wishing you a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas to you from all of us here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. We are finalizing our conversation on Hawkeye Episode 6 and the series as a whole. Melinda and I both recommend it. We did not recommend the Matrix Resurrections, but we do certainly recommend this. It was great. It was kind of
I don't
you
even
saw
know
the
that I'm finished. I don't even know that I'm finished talking about the Matrix. Like that's how bad it was.
I don't think you are, but because there's your list coming up. But it was kind of like we got the good with Hawkeye before we got the bad with Matrix. But
True.
I want to go ahead before we touch on your best and worst in pop culture for 2021. I want to ask you real quick. We saw Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, who you adore, simply
I
adore
do.
as far as it's concerned,
I do.
and he did a great
What a
job in it.
terrifying villain.
He's
Like
a
he's
very menacing character, and I think
terrifying.
that's something that's lost sometimes on the
Yes.
MCU because their villains have not always hit with great success. There are
Mhm.
some, and then there are others that are not. And he comes in here, and you can just tell because he has that cachet from the Netflix series already. He
Right.
already has that persona built in. You just kind of already know what you're going to get, and what you're going to get is somebody that's going to eat up the screen as far as full of villainy at that as far as that's concerned. So I want to hear your thoughts on Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Where do you think he should go? Because I certainly don't think he's dead. I certainly don't think he's gotten a fatal wound from Echo as far as that gunshot is concerned.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think that I don't I okay. Thoughts in order before we speak. Okay. I there's so many of them. I can't imagine that people would let a villain played so well as the Kingpin go like that. It seems too easy as far as Marvel villains go, you know? Like it
Well,
almost it's
in the
almost like
comics, I could just say in the comics that when Echo was faced with the similar situation where she had a gun to, and she found out that her uncle was killed off by the Kingpin,
yes,
similar to what we see here, that she actually ends up blinding him and not killing him after with the gunshot. So maybe
right.
that's going to be the same turn because it kind of met the story arc for Daredevil where he's blind and Daredevil's blind.
Right.
So it kind of that met that as far as that kind of story arc is concerned. Maybe that's where they want to go with it. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure, but there's the Echo series. There's the She-Hulk series. There's possibly a Daredevil series down the road that Kingpin needs to be a part of.
Yes, absolutely. He's a villain that we need in the MCU. So you can't kill him off. We need him too much.
Well, because
Plus,
we're going to see nothing but cosmic villains. I
oh
mean,
my
it's nice
gosh.
that we
Yeah.
have a grounded villain
Yes.
still yet again that you fear.
Yes. And seemingly, well, I don't know if is that accurate? Is he just like a regular human who's just a bad guy?
Well, he's certainly not
He's
on any
he's just
planets
a
right
I
now.
was just gonna say, yeah, he's just like a regular dude, right? And that helps, I think, ground, as you said, some of the more high fantasy parts of the MCU where we're
Exactly,
on
because
other planets and things like that. So
a lot of this action still takes place on Earth. I know we're going to have
oh,
Guardians of the Galaxy. I know we're going to have Thor: Love and Thunder. I know we're going to have a lot of stuff, Captain Marvel coming around. That's going to be of a space adventure type of deal. But still, when you have stuff that's grounded within the confines of planet Earth, because a lot of what's going on is based in planet Earth,
yes,
it's going to be something that's hold on. It's going to be something that see cough button. See, it's something that we should go ahead and appreciate because of the fact that it's not forgetting where the Marvel base is from.
right, yes, and I think that, oh God, could you? Oh, hang on, I gotta sneeze too. Sorry about that. There might be a second one coming though. Yep, there is. Sorry.
Hey, I cough, you sneeze. There you go. We're just sharing the love here on the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Allergies in Las Vegas. I don't know.
Tell me about it.
They're so bad. Okay. What was I saying?
It's about
Uh,
Kingpin being grounded on
yes.
planet
Yeah.
Earth.
So I think that um when you have very specific settings for very specific characters, you need to have very specific villains as well. Like, I couldn't see Daredevil versus Thanos. Please tell me that that's never been a thing, because I've missed a chunk of something if it has. But you need like Hell's Kitchen is such a specific setting, and it is all about Daredevil, and it's all about Kingpin, and I think that keeping those nuggets of things that are a little bit closer to our reality, ish, is really important for the MCU.
I think it is as well. It reminds you of exactly where everything's at, and that there are true villains out there still willing to do harm and willing to go ahead and control, and not just on a galactic or universe layer. It's also at
Right.
a Earth layer as well. Although you never know
Yes.
with Kingpin, he might become interstellar at some point in time. So you never know what happens with that, but Kingpin is going to, I think, still be a major part of the ground based MCU going forward. I don't think it would be in their best interest to go ahead and kill him off. He, Vincent D'Onofrio, has said he doesn't want to be killed off. So he's hoping for a future in the
Of course.
MCU. So
Yes.
I think after his great performance in Hawkeye episode 6, I really think that Marvel is now ending this year on a high note. Obviously, with the success of Spider-Man: No Way Home and
Yeah.
what you got with Hawkeye, which I truly think is the best of the Marvel television series to date. So we'll see what happens. I know that a lot of good things are coming from it, but the last thing I want to touch on is, again, Clint Barton did make it home for Christmas with Kate Bishop in tow, and Pizza the Wonder Dog, of course.
Right.
Yes, still there, still around, still going ahead and you know cutesing up the scene where you want to go. He's actually a really cool dog. So I'm really
Yeah.
liking the fact that he's still a part of this thing. But yes, they all enter the Barton farm, the famous Barton farm from the Avengers Endgame scenes that you saw there, and he
Hmm.
comes back and. Yeah, everything is looking good for Christmas, and he does make it home on Christmas Day, and everything's looking good, and they're, having fun and all that. And the last thing that you see is the Rolex from the first episode, and also I think what episode 4, when they tried to get it from Maya's apartment. He
Right.
did get a hold of it
Yeah.
from the Avengers compound. That was put on the black market auction, which is probably which was one of the main reasons why we actually got into this mess in the first place, along with the Ronin suit. He hands that over to Laura Barton, his wife, and you better. He kind of scolds her. You better keep track of your own stuff a little bit better. And then
Yeah.
she chides him. You better keep track of your own stuff a little bit better as well with the Ronin suit. So we
Hmm.
see the watch in a closer detail, and she turns it over, and there's the Shield logo with a number
Yep.
19.
Yep.
And that was very interesting because it played into a lot of people's hopes that Laura Barton, aka Linda Cardinelli, I think, um, oh gosh, she was Velma in the Scooby Doo movies. That's
Okay.
basically, yes. That's right. Linda Cardinelli. She actually has done a great job over the years, but we thought she was just a wife, caring mother and things of that nature. But during this series, she's been able to go ahead and give Hawkeye some valuable information, even
Hmm.
in German, which got everybody's like, "Ooh, I guess there's more than meets the eye there." And sure
Yeah.
enough, it is, because 19 on the Shield logo means that she's Agent 19. And in the comic books, that is Mockingbird, who was a love interest to Clint Barton's Hawkeye. So it seemingly seems like a career at Shield turned her to Clint Barton, and the two got married and started a home life after that. So it's
Right.
interesting. Could
Hmm.
Mockingbird play another role in the MCU?
I hope so. I really
Hmm.
do. I like it. I'm into it. I'm here for it. I ship it. Are the kids still saying that? I don't know. But yes, please, more of that. Bring me more.
You know what? She is right now, Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini.
You were close.
Linda Cardellini. She is doing a great job over the years and just like that in just little bits and pieces. But now she has a chance, maybe in a Hawkeye season 2, to hit center stage. So we'll wait and see. But Linda Cardellini, she's doing a great job now. She has a chance to go ahead and be at the forefront of the next Hawkeye series. Although it's going to be interesting. Does the next season 2, does that maybe focus more on Kate Bishop? I think it should. I think it
Yes.
needs to. But is there still room for Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, Clint Barton, and Linda Cardellini's Kate Barton as well?
Yes, I think so. I think they'll be very prominent secondary characters. I think that's the correct way to move forward with the way that this season has shaped up. I think that's the correct way.
I think it's the correct way as well. I think that's something that they should go into. I think that Marvel should be pleased and Disney Plus should be pleased. I know the numbers were kind of soft coming into the first episode, but I'm hoping that it retained a lot of the audience and will allow itself for season 2, because I think that this is, of the series that are out there that have been produced this year, the one that I think deserves a season 2 the most. But we'll wait and see.
I think that we're going to see the numbers probably track upwards a little bit too over the holiday as people look for a taste of Christmas in their show, but not, all of the boughs being decked and the halls being fallalad.
Is it one of the best Christmas series ever?
Let's start the debate now. Let's do it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Is it the Die Hard of Christmas TV series? You never know.
I think so.
Where people say, well, it's not a Christmas movie. Oh, I think it's a Christmas movie. Well, it takes place on Christmas, so to me, it's a Christmas movie. So we'll wait and see. Again, the thoughts are out there. A lot of people are really liking what they saw from the season-ending episode of Hawkeye and the series overall. If you have thoughts on Hawkeye Season 1 of many, we're hoping.
Fingers crossed.
And episode 6, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, you got your post-it notes ready?
Oh, man. Yes.
I do.
But I need 30 seconds before I can go into it because I've had to use the washroom ever since we started.
Okay, well, you go use the washroom.
I'm going to be 2 seconds. I promise. I'll be right back.
That would be that'd be record breaking. It was just 2 seconds.
You know what I mean, though? Like, I'll be super quick. I'll be right back. Sorry. Oh my God.
For it.
The worst.
And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the PCC Multiverse. We want to go ahead and check out what we do each and every day at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. Plus, we're located all over the internet and social media, popculturecosmos.com. We're also located at many other outlets, including TikTok, Instagram. We're also on YouTube. We're also, like I said, on Facebook. We've got Twitch going as well. So if you want to go ahead and check out what we do each and every week, we've got many outlets for you right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Plus, I want to go ahead and say Merry Christmas to all the incredible radio stations around the world that play our show. I want to wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas from all of us at the Pop Culture Cosmos, and may you have a blessed and happy new year to all your listeners and to all the great stations that provide our show to them on a weekly basis. Also want to make mention that we are the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. I know I say it all the time, but I look at the numbers, I look at the views, and it seems like nobody else does what we do when it concerns tabletop RPG streaming on Facebook as well as we do. So we've got several games that are out there each and every week. Want to go ahead and make sure everybody checks out what we do on the weekend, because DM Mitch, want to wish a special Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to him and thank him for his service to our country. Want to make sure to let him know that we appreciate all the stuff that he does during the weekend. Hopefully he'll run some special games as well during the week on his time off. Hint, 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 hint out there. Hoping he'll do that. And also as well, want to thank Roger for another tremendous year, the Demolition Force. Want to thank so much everybody else that enjoys what we do and that's part of the game each and every Monday. Plus also as well the great people that go ahead and play in all the games all week long that you can check out right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. But it is the PCC Multiverse. I want to thank so much for everybody to everybody for watching and listening. I know Melinda, she has some great things going on as far as her pop culture list, her best and worst in pop culture for 2021. So here she is now. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. You've teased a little bit to me off air. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to hear what Melinda's best and worst of pop culture for 2021 is. So Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is going to be published. I'm just going to let you know this is going to be just around the world published out there for everyone out there. And everybody's just going to be looking at it and using this as gospel, as the
Yes.
Bible right there for you.
And quietly or not so quietly judging me on my choices. I understand.
Okay, all right. Well, we all judge each other on our choices. You know, when I do mine next week, everybody's going to go ahead and say, "Really, really, really, really,
Yeah.
really." Yes. So everybody's going to be like that. I know Josh had a great list on the Monday show, and I cannot thank him enough for doing it. Wishing him a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And I know he's got a young lady that's on the way, so I know he's excited for that. So he's going to be taking some time off, but in the interim, we're here to cover it for you. And I'll tell you what, I know there's a great list that you got going on. So I have delayed enough.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
It's time for the Post-it notes to come out and to go ahead and share your thoughts in detail on your list of the best and worst in pop culture for 2021.
So
the only thing I ask though is at the very end, you pop on there the best, your very best and your very worst.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So you want me to save the absolute worst? Okay. I understand.
And the best too.
Okay. So, obviously we're going to talk about the Squid Games. I can't imagine that there's a best of list for the end of this year that does not have the Squid Games on it. I can't imagine.
Agreed.
Yeah. And if that does happen, then you need to send an email or a tweet or something to the person who wrote this best of list and ask them why the Squid Games wasn't on it and find out what their reasoning is, because it was so good. It hit the ground running and it didn't stop, and it got more and more horrifying, but then you had your moments of like genuine humanity and real kindness, and then just the absolute worst. Oh god, it was so good. Thrilled. So good. Okay. Another one, I don't think that it actually came out in 2021, but 2021 was when I discovered it. So I'm going to say it counts.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe put an asterisk beside this one.
Okay.
But the basketball anime series. it's over the top. It's it's about middle school players who look like they're in their 40s playing basketball. But it's so good. And you really do eventually end up caring for, all of the players that make up this dream team.
I just want to mention to everyone, it is Kuroko's basketball.
Yes. So please do watch it. I know there was a movie that came on Netflix not that long ago as well.
You notice I had an easier time saying Kuroko than Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, so. That's right. But watch the series before you watch the movie. I will give you that piece of advice. Because if you watch the movie, you might be a little bit lost in what's happening. So just a heads up on that. I have gotten all the way through Witcher Season 2. It's on my best of list. So good. Please spend your time watching this show. Please give it the attention that it deserves. It's wonderful and a great addition to the Witcher lineup. The first couple of episodes were a little bit weird. Maybe I was just preoccupied with some of the shots between the two characters, because it was obvious they were trying to do the 6 feet apart stuff, in the first couple of episodes. So maybe I was overthinking it. I don't know, but I did get a little bit distracted in the beginning of it. But there must have been something that they changed on the set, and then you have like the ensemble characters all together again. So I don't know. I thought that was a little bit weird. What If is on my best of. I thought it was great. I loved the animation style. I loved those moments where we heard from Chadwick again. I just thought that I just thought that it was an interesting flip of a coin for the stories that we know and we are also passionate about. I just thought it was interesting. So if you take that approach when you sit down to watch What If, they're not trying to rewrite anything. They're just literally saying, what if this happened instead? And the fallout from that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I'm going to put the Wheel of Time on my list as well, where I think we are 7 episodes in, I think, right now for the Wheel of Time. But give that one some of your time as well. It's high fantasy. If you've read the books, my husband is a massive Wheel of Time fanboy. He'll probably hate that I called him a fanboy for anything, but if it's Wheel of Time, I'm sure he's going to be at least a little bit okay with it. He has said that the small changes that they have made make sense for taking a book and putting it on TV, slight changes to characters and things like that. But he's very happy overall with how they are approaching the source material and how they have put the show together. So those are my big time. Heck yes, I have all of the time in the world. Going to sit down and watch it.
Very interesting indeed. That's a great list so far. I really like the fact that you added the Wheel of Time in there because I know, again, like I said before, when we were off air, my wife is ahead of me on it and she's really enjoying what she's seeing with the Wheel of Time. I know it's gotten a lot of praise out there from a lot of people, so I'm happy for you in that. I like the fact that you like the What If series a little bit more than I do. I think it's just something that, again, depending on the episode, for me, it really hit, it really resonated, or it didn't. But I
Yeah.
think a lot of the episodes there, the ending was pretty good. I like the ending. Thought it was pretty good. I thought Party Thor. I love Party Thor. Love
Right?
Party Thor. Yes. I know that Chris Hemsworth said, "Oh, I think people are getting tired of Thor." No, I'm sorry. Party Thor, you
Yeah.
just can't get tired of. No,
Yeah.
no.
I don't think anybody is tired of
Dude,
right?
dude. Yes.
Yes. My worst of list is a little bit shorter. I've got 3 things that really kind of stuck out for me.
Okay.
One of them was Santa Inc., the Seth
Okay.
Rogen movie. Was it stop animation? Can't remember even the animation style. It was so bad. I gave it a half an hour. I should have given it 5 minutes. It's bad and it doesn't get any better.
Well, you thought it was going to be a recreation of the Sausage Party. I know we covered it earlier this month on the Pop Culture Cosmos. We were hoping that it would be, it's from the guys who, and from the folks who made the Sausage Party. That was such a big hit. That was such a outstanding movie, very funny, raunchy comedy. And you thought you were going to get more of the same. It doesn't seem like it did that for you.
No. No, it didn't. And maybe excuse me, maybe I've hit that age where I don't necessarily I you know what? I don't know. I don't know why I didn't like it. I've just found it tasteless. And I love raunchy comedy. So, yeah, it was just bad all around. I'm going to put the Eternals on there. You probably should watch it, but I don't think that you're going to be moved in any direction by it, which is
I liked it a
unfortunate.
little bit more than you did. I'm going to
Yeah,
say that, but it was not the greatest movie. Yeah.
yeah, no, no, it really should have been like 3 different movies.
And I'm going to be even more honest with you. I think all the Marvel movies, and that includes Spider-Man: No Way Home, were okay, were
Mhm.
good, but nothing great this year
Right.
as far as on
Yeah,
the big screen.
yeah. And my worst, and perhaps this is a little bit safe because we've already talked about it, but I'm appalled at Matrix Resurrection. I'm appalled.
Is that your worst of 2021?
That is my absolute worst, was that. I I don't even think that I had big expectations for another Matrix movie. I don't it was just bad. I mean, I was distracted by lighting. That shouldn't be a thing you're distracted by when you're watching a movie. That should just be one of those details, and God bless lighting people because they know what they're doing and they know how to light things and light people, but man, I don't know if it was too harsh or I it was so distracting. It was so distracting. It just the whole thing just felt so cheap and underdeveloped, and it made me so sad because I wanted to like it. I wanted to support, the Matrix universe. I wanted to support Keanu. I wanted to see Trinity be an incredible badass, which I'm not going to say anything else because spoilers, but if they had just brought her in the first half hour of the movie instead of 2 hours and a half in, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
know.
I don't
Again,
know.
this movie was
Just
way too long.
yeah.
Special effects were substandard, and it was a great idea that was just taken way out of hand. It was just okay. You
But
have
that's
this
the
great
thing.
idea, and then you just go in a completely different
I
direction
don't
with it.
even think it was a full idea, and I think that's part of the problem is I don't think that there was a clear vision or a clear storyline that they were going after with this one. It all seems murky and it seems muddy. Nothing, no ideas are really crystallized. I don't know. I'm so upset about the movie. Actually, I'm very upset about it.
So,
Worst.
what is your? We do know your worst of 2021. What is your best of 2021? Just to make clear.
Yeah, my best I think is it's probably you know what? It's probably even a little bit of a tie between Squid Games and Wheel of Time.
Mm,
Yeah.
very good. There you go. All right. All right. So there you have it. There is Melinda's list of the best and worst in pop culture for 2021. If you have thoughts on it, please don't send the hate. Just let us know if you disagree in a polite fashion. But if you enjoyed what she said, if you agreed with what she said or disagreed in a respectful fashion, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com or popculturecosmos on any social media outlet. I think it's an outstanding list. So personally, I agree with much of what she was saying. So if you got a chance out there, please go ahead and share your thoughts on Melinda's best and worst in pop culture for 2021 at popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we're heading out, my friend, and we wish again everybody a truly Merry Christmas, I want to go ahead and touch on the teaser, aka slash end credit scene for Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Mhm.
I mean, it was just a trailer. First of all, again, I'm not going to stress enough how lazy it was for Marvel just to slap on that trailer at the end of it. And I thought that was very disappointing for me to see because you have that. It's like having real estate space on those
Yes.
end credit scenes. And you use that on a trailer instead of going ahead and saying, maybe let's develop possibly something down the line for one of the TV shows or something down the line for one of the movies, or maybe just giving you even a little bit of a hint of what's going on. Instead, you go ahead and show the Multiverse of Madness, which I no longer will trust Marvel on its commercials because, as we saw with Spider-Man: No Way Home, there were at least 2 or 3 scenes in the main trailer that were never in the actual movie.
Ugh, woof. Yeah.
So just let everybody know, if you haven't seen Spider-Man: No Way Home yet, the trailer, it lies to you. It lies. So I don't trust anything I see when it comes to a Marvel trailer anymore. But let's just go ahead and say most of it is generally going to be in the movie, whatnot. So it
Right.
appears that Doctor Strange does go ahead and finds and tracks down Wanda Maximoff, talks to her, lets her know, hey, the fact that you destroyed Westview and hurt many people, not worried about that. That's okay. Only
Yeah.
Doctor Strange can still be a good guy and just say, you know what, all that carnage you had,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It was a
Do it.
bad day. You were going through a bad time. I
Yeah,
understand. Yeah.
no problem. Not even worried about it. It's okay.
Right.
So I've got a bigger problem. I need you to help me tackle. So I guess he wants to approach her about, Wanda, I really want you to go ahead and help me out with this multiverse thing because with the Spider-Man spell, I kind of mucked things up, and now there's residual fallout from it. I guess that's causing the multiverse to go ahead and break down, and then you see clips of what's going on with the multiverse kind of taking shape as far as breaking down and such, and You see Baron Mordo back in there. It just, I like the fact that they're going to go ahead and execute that story arc. But the bigger, I guess, villain in this is Doctor Strange himself, possibly showing that one of your best of pop culture in 2021 is must viewing in What If, because he does look like he's going to be facing off against an evil Doctor Strange.
Mhm,
Share
mhm.
me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. Two Benedict Cumberbatches on the screen, and I love the way that he has played the Doctor Strange character. Like right from the time where he was the arrogant surgeon, like all through it. I just think that he's done a fantastic job, and yeah, I'm here for one Doctor Strange. I'm here two times for two of them.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and again, it all relates to What If. So now, I originally earlier this year, when What If was first, announced, and the first started seeing the trailers, I said I didn't think that What If was going to be required viewing. And then, as we saw the episodes, I said I'm going to remove that statement. I am going to fully remove that statement, because What If is now required viewing for everyone out there that wants to go ahead and keep up to date on the MCU. So
Yeah.
please, What If is not only, again, one of Melinda's best. I thought it was pretty good myself. So please, everyone out there, check it out as best you can, because it does lead into something we might see in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, between an evil and a good Doctor Strange facing off against each other. We see the multiverse breaking down. We see the first appearance of America Chavez, which is very interesting. You saw her kind of in the background there on a couple different scenes. So she is going to make her first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe then. Although I'm hoping that she will actually get introduced in maybe one of the TV series leading up to it. Moon Knight, I believe, is the next Marvel series on the list. Although they haven't officially announced what's next, it is believed that Moon Knight is the best. It seems to me like, because they could show you more scenes of Moon Knight in the trailers leading up to the series for next year, I think Moon Knight is probably the one that looks to be most finished.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to say that's probably the one that's going to be there. I'm hoping she might get introduced there. Could that be a possibility?
I hope so. I hope so. I think that, you know what, maybe that's the way that they should have approached the Eternals, is to have them show up in a series first and then have
Maybe.
them in, I yeah.
Well, I know Eternals was on your
Yes.
worst of
Sorry.
list for
Yeah.
2021. No, believe me, like I said, I thought the movie was okay, but I know everybody else is, it's out there thinking that it's either, at best okay or even worse. And I know how it's well thought and not well thought, not very well thought of as far as from a critical standpoint.
Right.
I will say that for all the love that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings gets, and it's very well deserving of it, it finished only $30 million above worldwide the Eternals. And actually, when you look at it, you've got Shang-Chi and the Eternals right behind it. So if Shang-Chi
Right.
gets a new life as far as sequels and things like that concerned, maybe the Eternals should as well. I'm not saying that, because I'm just saying in fairness, because of the fact that there's a story that you can expound on there to make it better, to make the
Yes.
Eternals even better.
Yeah.
So if Kevin Feige is committed to going ahead and expanding all parts of the MCU and not throwing the Eternals under the bus like they did the Inhumans, they can go ahead and expound on that and make it better. And I'm hoping that they will. But again, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, it's coming out next year. I believe in May is the scheduled date right now. But it's looking very interesting, looking very dark. So your final thoughts on Doctor Strange before we head on out?
I think that Doctor Strange needs to go dark. You know, I'm not sure why I feel that way. But I think of all of the Marvel characters, and I do mean all of them. I think that Doctor Strange could possibly have the most tendency, perhaps, to go darker than you would see like a Thor
Oh,
go, for example. So yeah, no, I'm here for it. I'm very excited about it. I may even get out to a theater to see this one as well. So we'll
there you
see.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard for Thor, especially now he's taking that comedic turn.
Yeah.
And if, of course, with What If, Party Thor, to actually go ahead and really get dark, it's kind of hard for him to do so. I know Love and Thunder is going to be very cheeky, and especially since Taika Waititi is directing it again.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's really going to be hard for them to go dark, because even in the Shadows show that he executive produces. Really, that it's supposed to be a dark show, but it's actually a very light show all in the same time. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and actually, you know what? Shoot, I should have put that on my best of list too. Was what we
what
do
we
in the
see in the
shadows.
Shadows
Yeah.
season 3, I think.
Oh gosh, I think it's season 3.
Yeah, it's very
That's
good.
funny.
It's gotten a lot of acclaim over the years, and it's very well deserving of it. So,
Yeah.
yes, appreciate that. But also, as well, wanted to make sure and let everybody know if you have any thoughts on the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, which had a dual purpose of serving as an end credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, which still perturbs me to this day. Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. How much of it do you think is actually going to end up in the movie itself? That is the big question
Uh,
because they've lied to me before with Spider-Man. So
and they
again,
will lie to you again.
yes, and they
They
will lie
will.
to me again. Yes,
Uh-huh.
that's what Marvel does. They spend a whole bunch of money to create extra scenes which never end up on the actual movie itself. So
Right.
that's when you know that they're going to go all out to go ahead and hide their secrets. That
Yeah.
you can appreciate at least. But it
So
is
does that mean that they did or did not understand the assignment?
well, they probably did. They just did take it to a whole new level. I mean, their aura of secrecy on how they want to protect the continuous line for the MCU is just legendary. So,
Yeah, that's true.
you know what? It is Marvel, and that's the way we like it. And I guess we like surprises. So there you go. There you have it. But it is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. My friend, it's been a great episode. Wanted to wish everyone again, once and for all, a truly Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
Spend some time over the holiday, obviously, with friends, with like family and stuff like that. Be safe. Watch Witcher season 2. You're not going to be disappointed. If you haven't been watching Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, then please give that a little bit of time to over the holiday, if you have any time.
Oh, well, you tell me every time on every week now to go ahead and just ditch the holiday party and just go into another room and check it out. So, yes, they should have plenty of time.
That's where the holiday party should be.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I'm from the Maritimes, in Canada, which is like the East Coast, so Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. All of our parties take place in the kitchen. Um, they don't happen in any other part of the house. If you go to another part of the house, it's because you don't feel well, or you're trying to sneak out early. I am encouraging you to actively leave the kitchen party, go to the living room, and put on one of these shows because your kitchen party may turn into a viewing party. Just remember the popcorn.
Hey, it's better than having all your action take place in the coffee house like the Matrix Resurrections.
It's not where I thought you were going with that, but I'm glad that's where you went.
So, for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening and have a truly Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, wonderful Boxing Day, and truly a happy holiday season. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day. Now, for anybody watching, we are going to give you a special little treat on the back end. It's another half hour of our goodness because we're going to actually tape a little bit for upcoming shows next week. So, all right. And we're here with the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford along with Melinda Barkhouse Ross coming on for the Monday show for a little real quick. We've got a lot of great things to discuss today. I've got John Orlando from the PVD cast. He's stopping by to talk the state of pro wrestling for 2021. I've also got Dawn Fobbs. She's here from the Mother Daughter Ish podcast to talk about some great things, including what she thinks is the best in TV for 2021. But I've also got my list and I'm going to go ahead and share with you. How are you today, Melinda?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm looking forward to the new year and some great stuff because on the Friday show, we're going to talk about exactly what we're hoping for in 2022.
Yes.
But on this show, I'm going to go ahead and run down my best and worst of 2021. So let us not delay any further. Let's just, if we have a drum roll, we're going to go ahead and give you a drum roll. But we're going to go ahead and talk right now about my best and worst in pop culture for 2021. I do want to mention that last week's shows, if you did not catch them, have Melinda Barkhouse Ross, her best.
Oh, hang on.
Her
Sorry.
woof woof. her woof woof, her best and worst in pop culture for 2021. That's on the Friday show, and Josh's best and worst in pop culture on the Monday show, the Pop Culture Cosmos. I highly suggest you go ahead and give both a listen. They're truly tremendous shows and truly great lists by both the individuals. And I cannot thank both you and Josh for doing that. But here it comes. I'm ready. Let the anticipation begin because I'm going to give you a list right now. What do you want? The best or the worst in pop culture for 2021? What do you want first? What do you want? What do you want?
Give me your worst first.
Give me my worst first. Okay, we will go ahead with the worst in pop culture from me for 2021, and we're gonna go from the less worst to the main worst of 2021. So first off, the show or movie that I really think should be a part of this list. First thing is Snake Eyes, which was a poor attempt to try and recreate and revitalize the G.I. Joe universe.
Oh my gosh, I
And
forgot all about that.
Henry Golding, I think, is going to be a great star in Hollywood. Unfortunately, this was supposed to be his launching pad because he looks like he may become the James Bond next one day. You're not sure whoever that's going to be, but you know what? Henry Golding, great star, just unfortunately couldn't get it done here. The action is mediocre. The plot is just basically cookie cutter. It's a snooze fest, and unfortunately wastes the great talent of Henry Golding. So hopefully he can find better roles, upcoming things since. And then actually, Snake Eyes, it's a movie that not only re-kickstarted and also killed the GI Joe series, I think, for Hasbro all in the same queue, unless they really want to go ahead and punish themselves and bring out something else in the GI Joe new universe. So it is Snake Eyes, going to be the first on my list here. Next is Jungle Cruise with Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Uh-huh.
and it was just something that was also a snooze fest that
He's
had.
just making that money.
Yeah,
Just
it doesn't matter to
making
me because
money.
I absolutely enjoy Dwayne The Rock Johnson on so many different things, but this year wasn't a good critical year, but it was making money because Jungle Cruise did a nice chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to, I think they're going to go ahead and revisit it and do a sequel to it, if I'm not mistaken. So Disney, I think, has greenlit a sequel for this movie. I'm just hoping that it'll be much better than this turn because dealing with the tree of life and dealing with everything that went on there and the sap and the whole 9 yards as far as the cruise down the African rivers to try and get there. It didn't entertain me, and I thought the
Right.
jokes fell flat. I thought the tit for tat between the characters were just not that good, just not that interesting. I think it's something that I've seen many times before. The supernatural elements were not that good. So I do not recommend Jungle Cruise. Again, for me, it was something that was there. It's a time killer, and that's pretty much it. Space Jam: A New Legacy. This was kind of disappointing for me because the animation is probably some of the best I've ever seen as
Right.
far as the animation part of it. But unfortunately, they had to try and act. And outside of Don Cheadle, there was really nothing else as far as this movie that was worth anything outside of Don Cheadle and the animation. LeBron James, I've got nothing but love for him as a guy who hosts the Lakers Fast Break. Believe
Yeah.
me, I've got nothing but love for the man, but man, he just was not given much to do and not given much to work with. I think the writing was absolutely horrid. The jokes fell flat. I think
Right.
both whether it's by him or was from the animated, his animated friends on screen. I think the Looney Tunes thing, as far as trying to recapture what took place over 20 years ago with Michael Jordan, you can't. It's very hard to capture the lightning in the bottle again, as we saw with the Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah.
It's very hard to recapture that lightning in the bottle, and they didn't do it here with Space Jam: A New Legacy. Unfortunately, it wasted a decent performance by Don Cheadle and just wasted pretty much everything as far as it's concerned with a whole bunch of money that you knew that they spent on this picture. And it's another big budgeted movie that was just simply a waste of time. Another Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie that is on this list is Red Notice. And
Yeah. I
that's,
was wondering if that was going to be on your list.
I mean, I'm not going to fault it. It's the all-time favorite movie on Netflix. More people have watched this movie than any other. It beat Bird Box, and a lot of people are really enjoying it. I know I'm going to talk to more about Red Notice here with Don Fobbs here in a little bit, but it just was really disappointing. This was really disappointing, and I'm sorry to see that they're going to be able to hope. Well, I know they're going to make a sequel of it because Netflix, obviously, having the most popular movie on there, it's going to be having a sequel. So I don't have any doubt of
Right.
that. And I know they're going to dish out the tens of millions of dollars to Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and Dwayne the Rock Johnson for another movie out there. So they're going to get cash paid for it, but this was a generic by the numbers art theft plot movie that was just really boring
Yeah.
and unfunny, and PG-13 Ryan Reynolds for
It's
the
just
most
not
part.
as funny.
No, not as
Yeah.
funny and not even close. He's just he's trying, but it's just not clicking. The problem is you set yourself up a legacy for an R-rated comedian like no other, and the problem is when you go down to a PG-13 setting, which is what a lot of people are fearing when Deadpool finally hits the MCU. What will it be like when he's going to be interacting, let's say, in an Avengers movie? Is he
Right.
still going to be funny? Is it still going to resonate? So we'll see what happens there. But Red Notice was a disappointment and I think wasted the talents of all three individuals, but that's on my list as well. Mortal Kombat. Now, this is a snooze fest. Mortal Kombat is definitely not the movie of the 90s that really garnered a cult following, and a lot of people enjoyed that first iteration of that movie. Then it went all to hell with Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Well, unfortunately, Mortal Kombat, this reboot, still stayed in hell because it's really is a snooze fest. I don't
Wow.
care about any of the villains. I don't care about any of the heroes. I don't care about the plot. It just was really, really bad. And I think this movie, I know there were some certain individuals that I spoke to over the course of the year. Thomas Bennett was one that saw this movie several times. And I'm just thinking to myself, how? I could barely get through it once. And just really, it was just not that good at all.
Right.
It seems to be a recurring theme, but here we go again with Ryan Reynolds, PG-13, with Free Guy. And now this movie I was really looking forward to. And the fact I've already said on the air that I fell asleep 3 times, not once, not
Yeah.
twice, but three
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
tells you right there that this was just something that was very underwhelming, and I'm very disappointed in it. And I know that it was a success, so there is going to be another Free Guy in our future whenever Ryan Reynolds decides to come back from his hiatus from acting. So I know there's another Red Notice in my future. I know there's another Free Guy in my future. I don't know if I'm excited for it. I don't think so, but I'll probably watch it anyways. But yes, it was another disappointing performance for Ryan Reynolds and Free Guy. But now we get down to the final two.
Uh-oh.
And number two, in my just absolute worst of 2021, was none other than the Matrix Resurrections. Oh, just absolutely just horrid, and just took a good, well, like you said, half of a good idea and just blew it up to smithereens, or force pushed it away. That's
Yes. Yeah.
there goes the script. Along with everybody else flying away, there goes the script and the plot actually
Oh,
flying away as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh. Oof.
I know you said it already on your best and worst of, and we already covered it on the Friday show. So if you want to hear our entire thoughts on the Matrix Resurrections, please go ahead and check out the Friday show, the PCC Multiverse, because this was a movie that was probably the most disappointing movie of the entire year. And
Yeah.
I just want to leave it at
The
that.
most anticipated and then the biggest letdown.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I do want to mention for an honorable mention as far as the TV show is concerned, La Brea, which is I want to get the hell out of here. When I just watched a few minutes of it, I can't give it really a grade, but I watched just a few minutes of it, and just the concept and the idea of it, just like I escaped, I guess, as quickly as I could. So
See, I
I
didn't
think,
mind that show. I didn't mind it. I watched it.
well,
I'm
it's just
I'm
it's
interested in
great.
season 2.
Okay, as long as one of us is, so you can go ahead and let us know about it, because yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
I just the concept of it, it's like, okay, all right, now people are going to go down to LA and go to La Brea, and every time they go by the tar pits, they go, oh, is there another universe down there? Let me go ahead and check. All right, so yeah, it's La Brea, it's there, it existed. I couldn't stand it. I turned it off after 5 minutes, so I can't really give it a grade, but let's just say it would not be on my not it would be on my naughty list, to say the least, that's for
Sure.
sure. But the number one movie, and this was even worse than The Matrix Resurrections. And I think by far it is simply one of the worst movies I have seen in the past 10 years is The Tomorrow War that you can get on Amazon Prime with Chris
Yes.
Pratt.
I forgot about that one too.
Yes.
Uh,
The
Worse
Tomorrow
than
War.
Matrix, though. I would watch that before I would watch The Matrix again.
Oh, it's just absolutely. You would watch The Tomorrow War before The Matrix.
Yes.
I
Yes,
would be
I
the
would.
opposite. I would, if you had to put, if you forced me down, I was tied into a chair and I had to watch one thing. I would say The Matrix Resurrections.
Really funny.
Yeah, because of all the cutscenes, I could remember what a good movie was like. So,
Well played, sir. Well played.
yes, that's the only reason for the flashbacks to remind you what a good Matrix movie was during that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Tomorrow War, I think the script was written by a 3-year-old. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was I don't think it was meant to be anything more than a shooting up aliens movie, honestly.
Yeah,
I
but when
think
the
that
aliens
that's
looked
all it
awful, the aliens when they looked like they were drawn up by a 4-year-old. The script was done by a 3-year-old. The special effects were done by a 4-year-old. And there's some hilarious scenes that weren't meant to be hilarious, like when they're battling at the end, Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons against the big queen mother alien,
Yes.
and yes, somehow that big huge queen mother alien shrinks down to a size where it's okay to go ahead and jump on the back of it. Yeah, that's amazing in so many
Yeah.
different ways.
Oh, there's so much I forgot about.
Yeah, and just the acting is they phoned it in. Everybody phoned it in and cashed a paycheck. It was bad, 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 bad. There's things in the plot and the story that don't make any sense, that they leave hanging, that they just leave out, they just don't explain. They're just stupid plot turns, stupid plot decisions, character decisions that were made that were just absolutely dumb. Again, this was a waste of 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back. And I almost actually unsubscribed. I almost took off my subscription to Amazon Prime because of this movie. I'm
Oh,
just going to let
wow.
you know right now. That's
Wow.
how bad this movie is. And the fact that it had to go ahead and continue to remind me for days on end afterwards because their packaging
Yes.
for a lot of their stuff for at least a month was nothing but
Yeah.
advertisements for the Tomorrow War, and to
Yeah.
constantly remind me, because we get a lot of stuff through Amazon, to constantly remind me on a daily basis that you got this crappy movie on your Amazon Prime was just irritating.
Yeah.
So yes, that was my thoughts on the Tomorrow War as the worst pop culture entity of 2021. And I know there's a lot of junk out there each and every year, but this met a new low for me in no uncertain terms. And if you have thoughts out there on your worst of pop culture in 2021, please let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, I'll tell you what, there's so much more to talk about on today's program, including the best of pop culture in 2021 and what Melinda and I are looking forward to in 2022. Here we go, Melinda. My best of pop culture in 2021. Here we go. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. I've stretched. I'm good. I'm
Okay,
ready.
now this first thing at the very tail end of my best of 2021 is actually on a lot of worst and also some best of 2021's list. It's a very divisive thing.
Ooh, a controversial take. Okay.
Yes, it is Cowboy Bebop, which I think if you are not a fan of the anime, you'll like it more
Sure.
than it being a hardcore devoted fan. I really like Cowboy Bebop. I'm hoping it finds a second life somewhere else, or maybe Netflix will recant and uncancel it. But I'm hoping it finds a season 2. I thought the performances by Mustafa Shakir and Daniela Pineda were outstanding.
Mhm.
Really make the actual series itself. John Cho was okay, playing the main role there, but I really think that the fact that you have these intergalactic space bounty hunters, that whole concept, that whole idea was very colorful, it was very stylish.
Yeah.
I really really liked it. I know it had some issues here and there as far as the plot is concerned, but overall I kind of liked what I saw with Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I enjoyed the series too. I really did. I thought it was fun to watch, and that's
Yeah,
the bare minimum of like the bottom line that you have to cross is am I going to enjoy watching this? Am I going to have fun?
Yeah,
And I had a
absolutely.
lot of fun watching it.
I agree with you on that. And the thing is, if you are a fan, I understand. I think there are things and elements there from what I've read. I can totally understand that you're upset about, but come on, this was to me was a really it was a good series. I think that again, it could have been better. I think so, but I think for what it was, I think it was really entertaining, and that's what I want out of a Netflix series. And I think Cowboy Bebop deserves for me to be on that list of the best of 2021. What I have next is something that you and I both like, and I'm not sure if you caught up on the entirety of it, but something we've talked about a little bit on the show.
Mhm.
CSI Vegas
Oh,
was
good
something
call.
that,
Mhm.
yes, had its little issues during the start of it, but again, rounded out to tell a great narrative over the 10 episode arc. And I'm thankful that we got to see Gil Grissom, aka William Peterson, one last time. He will not be a part of season two, which makes me very sad. Georgia Fox's status, her, is still up in the air. We don't know. It's up to her whether or not she wants to continue. Actually, I would probably actually have her not, because the fact she would have to explain where her husband is half the
Yeah, it
time on the
was
series.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I was just going there as well. You might as well not have either of them and allow the new cast to try
yeah.
to move forward.
And you love Paula Newsome. I thought she was great on the show.
Yeah.
I think some of the cast members are hit or miss, but again, she is a dead on hit as far as her her on the show. I think she's a great way to go ahead and transition over to her as the lead and go ahead and connect with her. I think the show does deserve a season two, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they are, what they can offer with or without William Peterson and Georgia Fox. I really think that things are looking good for CSI Vegas season two.
Absolutely. I agree. Here, here.
Here, here, indeed. Next on my list is probably one of the best musicals that's out there, one of the best rated musicals that's out there. And that's something that, again, I have stressed on this show with my love for the band itself that helped create this musical, and that's Annette. It is weird. It is totally sparks, but it is something that if you can get into it, it is something that's well worth watching. Adam Driver can actually sing. He does a pretty good job. Marion Cotillard her voice is just operatic. It's just beautiful to listen to. Again, the story itself, again, it's out there, and if you come to know them, the Mayel brothers, known as Sparks, you would understand that this is something that they would write, because they themselves are kind of offbeat, all the
Right.
stuff that they've done over the years. But again, this is well worth watching and one of the best musicals of 2021. In a year that there were many musicals, this to me really stands out. The one of the songs at the very beginning, "Now May We Start," has been on the name to the short list for best song. So we'll see if it actually gets on the list and nominated, but it is on the short list, so it's being thought of very well. So if you get a chance, check out Annette when you get a chance. It's available on Amazon Prime. So I know a lot of Sparks fans that are out there are really happy that they've had this kind of success this year. And you never know, something that involves them may appear on this list coming up here in a bit as well. Next up on the list is Demon Slayer. My youngest daughter, is a huge fan of Demon Slayer, and Mugen Train is something that I caught with her as a special movie that has continued this anime series that's really popular. Really,
Yes.
really popular. And we've mentioned
Yeah.
that on the show, how in the past, how well the movies have done and the series has done in Japan and all over the world. So Demon Slayer Mugen Train is something I highly recommend. It's a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. I think it comes as highly recommended and continues the successful line of Demon Slayer stuff. And they're going to continue that, really, really going on a lot more. So I think that the Demon Slayer train, pardon the pun, is going to continue, and it's going to continue for a long time to come. And a lot of it is based off the success of Demon Slayer Mugen Train. So please go ahead and check it out if you can, where you can catch it. I'm not sure if it's on Hulu or not, but it is available and out there on VOD, I think, still. So if you get a chance, check out Demon Slayer Mugen Train. It is well worth the watch. And actually, the whole Demon Slayer series, start from the
It's
beginning if
really
you
good.
can.
Yeah, really
It's
good.
really, really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Demon Slayer. Cobra Kai season 3, not season 4. We could actually technically put season 3 and season 4 on this list, because you can actually see season 4 on December 30th on
Right.
Netflix.
Uh-huh.
But I think if season 4 pans out, because I haven't seen season 4 in its entirety, I think I will go ahead and say we will put that on next year's list if it qualifies for bad or good, what have you. But season 3, which debuted on January 1st of this year, is very good. And this series continues to amaze me even more. I'm not a big fan, as I've always said, of the actual original movies, all three of them. Didn't think they were good at all. I thought they were overly cheesy. I thought they emphasized, even when I saw it in the 80s, what the 80s was not really great, was not really great about the 80s. It was very cheesy, it's very corny. But then you get into this series and it turns everything that you saw in these previous Karate Kid films and turns it around on its head, makes Johnny the hero, who is really one of the best characters in television right now, just because of the fact that you've seen his whole life turn around and he has this chance to go ahead and improve his life and manages to screw it up every single way he can. And now he's teaming up with his arch rival, who
Yeah.
we know for as the hero from the Karate Kid movies for so
Yeah.
long. And now they're both teaming up to fight a common enemy that you all know from the Karate Kid movies as well. So I don't want to put in too much into as far as into spoiler territory, but if you get a chance, please check out Cobra Kai seasons 1, 2, and 3, especially 3. I thought 3 is really good. Thought it had a decent ending. Season 2 was good up until the fact that they had the world's longest high school fight. That I
Right.
thought was really kind of weird. But season 3, I thought was really good. In fact, actually has an appearance by an old character, an old flame. Actually, two old flames per se. It actually has reappearances by several of the favorite characters from the past. So please go ahead and check it out. It is Cobra Kai season 3 before you go ahead and check out Cobra Kai season 4 on Netflix. And please support Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai, there you go. Strike hard. There you go with Cobra Kai season 3. You like that? Strike hard, strike
That was
fast,
good.
strike hard.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you. I
Yeah,
caught it. I caught
there's
it.
there's a slogan right there for you.
Yep.
But next on the list is something on Disney Plus, and it's something I was surprised to see that was on Disney Plus, and that is the Beatles Get Back.
Mm.
I thought that, since the library is owned by Apple, you would think Apple Plus would have jumped at the opportunity to go ahead and have something that Peter Jackson, just was able to get a hold of it. It's just sitting in the library or sitting in the dark chambers of Paul McCartney's property. And he goes to Paul McCartney, hey, can I have this? Can I go ahead and play around with this? And he said, yeah, sure, mate. Yeah, no problem. So it's the tens and tens of hours of footage that they were able to go ahead and cut down to still a very, very long 3-part documentary. But the thing is, it's so fascinating. It's almost like watching history, because the Beatles are so much of a part of music history. I mean, you as a radio personality for 20 years, you know
Yeah.
how important the Beatles are to music, to
Mhm.
the world in general over the past century, half century, what they've
Yeah.
done and what they've created over that course of time that they were together. And this entails their last and final few days together as a unit, the breakup that they had initially with George Harrison leaving the group, trying to get them back in to do one last performance together, and the music that they created together. But it's a fascinating look at what we see from the Beatles. It is a long 3-part documentary. It's not 6 hours. It's actually longer than that. So I really appreciate everything that I saw with Get Back. And again, it's like that last bit of history, and you can show younger audiences this, and it teaches them exactly how important the Beatles were to our history.
Yeah, absolutely. Good pick.
I know Roger is out there. He said on the comments that he likes to go ahead and he's watching. He started watching the Beatles Get Back, and he thinks they should have broken up into smaller chunks. I'm not going to say I disagree with you in that, because again, these are long 3 and 4 hour episodes. I agree they probably should have broken up into maybe 1 hour 90-minute episodes, maybe 2 hour episodes at the very, I know, at the very most.
Yeah.
But again, in its form, I think it's like a history lesson. I think you'd almost, I see the Beatles Get Back being part of music history classes going forward, because I think it's a fascinating look at what many will consider the all-time greatest band. I know Josh says he thinks the all-time greatest rock band was Rolling Stones. I'm not going to argue with that, but Again, it's to your taste, but I think the history, the what is as far as critically received, popularity, I think that you can say the Beatles are still number one.
Yeah, it's and I think that along with what you were saying there, it's kind of an unflinching look as well. I don't think that they tried to pretty anything up either for the things that were happening in the band and among the members and things like that during that period of time where this documentary takes place. So yeah, no, I like it. I thought it was courageous of McCartney to agree to put it out, to be completely honest. And
Wait, hey, can I ask you? Do you have Robbie Ross? Do you both have like hours of footage back in the attic somewhere that we can go ahead and make a documentary out of?
oh, we do have audio cuts that don't make it into the podcast. Yes, I do have a folder of outtakes. Yes.
Okay, is it like 19 hours worth of stuff?
It's not 19 hours. It's you could probably take all of these little like 10, 12,
I
30
think it was
second
like
clips.
60 hours of
Yeah,
actual footage, or even
yeah,
more of Beatles stuff. So yeah, that's
yeah.
insane. That's just
We're not
insane. You
quite
have that
there
lying.
yet.
Only
We're
Paul McCartney can have that stuff lying around the house. Oh, it's just right here. Oh yeah, this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah,
forgot about it a long time ago. But yeah,
yeah.
but it is the Beatles Get Back. It was a tremendous experience, and I hope people get to check it all. I agree with Roger. I think it should have been broken up into smaller chunks, but maybe you should take it in smaller chunks. It's easy to go ahead and do. Take it in an hour at a
Absolutely.
time, 2 hours at a time, what have you. But please go ahead and check out the Beatles Get Back. Coming up next for me on the best of pop culture in 2021 is Loki. Outstanding series. I like the ending. I know, depending on the age group, again, as we talked about, whether or not you like the ending or not, because my
Right.
daughters, for instance, couldn't stand the ending. I like the ending the way it sets up for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really liked it. I thought it was well done. I think people get squirmy on the Loki versus Loki love story. I
Right.
know that people get a little bit squirmy on that, but still, I think it was a very good series, and I enjoyed my time with Loki.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I enjoyed that series too. Yeah. Good pick. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot to add to that one. It was a
No,
good
no worries. But I got something I know you'll like, and that you've already
yeah.
spoken about is the Squid Game. Is also
Yeah.
on my best of 2021. It telling you in detail about obviously humanity, greed, and emotion and love, all in the same series.
Aspirations.
It has captivated the world's
Yeah.
attention. It has been seen by hundreds of millions of viewers now, and it's just an incredible series. I know that obviously season two now is on the way because it achieved just unmentionable success, and just really just achieve a level of success that's almost been unmatched by anything else that's out there. So the Squid Game has been a world sensation, and rightly so, because it is very, very good. It was on your best of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
yes, it's really something worth watching. The Squid Game. Next up is a video game for us, and that's Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I know Josh had some video games on his list, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition, you knew I wasn't going to forget about Mass Effect,
It's true.
because I really, really, really appreciated the fact that Mass Effect Legendary Edition was an experience I would love to go back into. The additions and the upgrades were well worth making, and it reminds you of just how truly brilliant this series has been and still can be, with stuff going forward as far as a sequel, a Mass Effect 4. Let's forget about Mass Effect Andromeda. Let's throw that away. Let's throw that somewhere under the rug. But yeah, let's hide that like Paul McCartney's Get Back 50 hours of documentary. Let's just have that lying somewhere else in the house. But
Right.
Mass Effect 4, the reason why people are so excited is in part because of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Roger did want to say he agreed that Squid Game was fantastic and very well done. Yes, we just truly thought it was a well done. It's both on our pop culture best of list for 2021. Coming up next is something, again, I mentioned earlier, that my love for Sparks was justified this year, because not only did we have Annette that came out, which was a very good musical, but we also have from Edgar Wright, director that a lot of people appreciate and follow, was his love for the Sparks brothers, aka the Mail brothers, and called the Sparks Brothers, which to me was the best documentary of 2021. It's it tells obviously their history, a side of them, showcases so many actors and actresses and music industry and just celebrities in detail about their love for Sparks. And obviously trying to get them over to a larger audience. That's the goal, to help people come to appreciate these guys because they're in their 70s. They're still going to be touring, but still, we don't know how much longer we're going to have them since they've been around since the 60s. But
Right.
yes, it is Sparks. They are a cult hit group. They cater to a niche, trying to expand that niche. But this explains the history of what the Mayo brothers have done as Sparks, their ups and downs, their highs and lows. It is not structured in a way that's going to be outlandish. It's a very basically structured documentary, but it is done so clean, it is done so well. The production values are extremely high. It is a very well made documentary. I know I have a good friend, Rob McCallum, that does a lot of documentaries out there that, when he does them really well, are very comparable to this, because when he does a a documentary that's this well done like this, it's very slick. It cuts through very fluidly and tells what it needs to tell as far as what it needs to get across. So yes, the Sparks Brothers by Edgar Wright was on my best of list for 2021. All my last four now. All my last four.
Okay.
Chivalry 2, best multiplayer game that's out there. So if you feel like going ahead and donning the sword, the shield, the armor, go ahead and check out Chivalry 2. It was the best video game experience for me in 2021 and the best multiplayer experience in 2021 for me by far. Really had a great time with it. You can go ahead and, again, if you're a newbie or experienced, doesn't matter. You can still go ahead and feel competitive, which is something very few multiplayer games can have, is where you don't feel like you're really out of foot if you're not really that good at the game or you're not really experienced with the game. This does well for you, whether you're experienced or not experienced. Allows you to go ahead through varying ways to go ahead and be competitive. So Chivalry 2, I give the highest marks for as far as a video game this year. Last three, coming down to it, is something that came out, unfortunately did not do very well as far as the box office, but I think still has a future because a lot of people are really liking what they saw from the Suicide Squad because it did so well on HBO Max. And
Yeah.
obviously, we have the Peacemaker series coming up in January. So James Gunn did a very good job with the Suicide Squad and helped take a movie that was really vilified in Suicide Squad, helped turn that around and create a movie that was fun, frantic, funny, just a whole bunch of great F words, and it did include F words into it. So it is a great movie, and I highly recommend it. It is a Suicide Squad, so hopefully people get a chance to check that out, because if you haven't yet, HBO Max has it right there for you. Please go ahead and check out the Suicide Squad, because it is something, even though it didn't do well at the box office because of the pandemic and whatnot, plus also day and day with HBO Max, I think that HBO Max and Warner Brothers were really happy with what they saw because the critical reception for it was outstanding. And the Suicide Squad is something I think we're going to see more of in the future. So I'm looking forward to it indeed. But the last two coming up for you right now, something we talked about last week, and that is Hawkeye.
Oh,
Hawkeye is, again,
wow. Okay.
that's number two on my list. So Hawkeye is the number two best thing in pop culture for 2021.
Okay.
It is simply the best television show that Marvel has ever produced, bar none. It's something that is good to great through every episode, something that has taken a character which we knew very little about, which we, for the most part, for a lot of people, cared very little about, and has
True.
taken it to a whole new level on people wanting to go ahead and now see a season two of a character that they may have not have cared about come November, when the series first started. So again, we not only did that, but it created a lot of new characters. It did a lot of storytelling. It branched off as far as for other series. It had a lot of things to do and got all of it done. All of
Yeah.
it done for it in a great way. You loved Kingpin on it. There's got to be a future for him. Roger just finished seeing it today. He thought it was absolutely wonderful. Again, just cannot say enough superlatives. If you want to check out our full thoughts on the series, please go ahead and check out the PCC Multiverse from Friday's show. So go ahead and check that out on our Christmas show, the PCC Multiverse. But it is Hawkeye Season One, and I'm hoping there'll be more of Hawkeye in the future, because I really do think it is the Marvel Cinematic Universe's best television show of the year. Sorry, WandaVision. Sorry, Captain America and Winter Soldier. Sorry, What If. Sorry, Loki. This, to me, was the best Marvel show of the year.
Fantastic.
So now we come to it. Now we
Oh
come
gosh.
to Yes, you look so excited indeed. I know. I hope you're not falling asleep like you were in the Matrix,
Yeah.
or like I was in the Matrix, and Free Guy, and all those other great
Right.
movies I saw as well.
Yeah.
But number one with a drum roll is Dune Part One,
Nice.
which now we will officially get a part two in 2 years.
Yes.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. This movie was so good. I saw it on HBO Max on my big screen and thought it was not doing itself justice. I had to go ahead and see an IMAX, and my wife and I saw it in IMAX, and we're just blown away. The
Yeah.
cinematography, you know, the only thing that matches it was Denis Villeneuve's previous effort in Blade Runner 2049, because the cinematography on this was outstanding. The
Mhm.
story that it told, yes, it does come to a stop like Halo 2, but again, it's a part one, a part two. So really what it told up until that point was truly outstanding. This array of characters, the array of stars that he got for this film, they all did a great job. They're very menacing when they need to be. They're very
Yeah.
heroic when they need to be, and it takes the turns. Yes, we all know the story who have read the book before. Yes, we all know where this is going, but it tells it in such a manner that is really compelling, and it obliterates David Lynch's efforts in the 80s when he had to go ahead and put two books into one. I'm very happy that it got extended for another part of it. I'm happy that they're developing a series for
Yes.
HBO
Oh, the
Max off
series
of
are
it.
good, right?
Yes. Roger's saying yes, the wait for the next part is too long, but he can't wait. Obviously, he enjoyed Dune. So many other people have enjoyed Dune as well. It's been a very successful hit both in the box office and also HBO Max. It is something I cannot highly recommend enough, but it is Dune Part 1, my best of pop culture for 2021.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. Got to take a deep breath after that. But before we head on out, Melinda, it is what we're looking forward to in 2022. So we'll go ahead and run real quickly. I'm looking forward to Starfield, which is the latest game from Bethesda, from the folks at Elder Scrolls, and also the Fallout series. Todd Howard is running it. So this is their latest IP that they want to get across. Looking forward to that. Obviously, the next God of War is supposed to be coming out in 2022. Looking forward to that. Horizon Forbidden West. There's going to be a lot of video games that are coming out. Movies, I think that a lot of people are looking forward to Doctor Strange, Thor Love and Thunder. That's great. What's coming up with the Batman? I think a lot of people are really getting into that. What we're going to see as far as Black Adam and maybe even Shazam. I'm not sure if Shazam is a 2022 or 2023. The next Aquaman, if that comes out. Critical Role on Vox. I know that Roger's looking forward to that as far as the animated series. I know that's coming very soon as well. So a lot of people are looking forward to that. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff that's on the way. Moon Knight and the MCU series are still going to be going strong in Disney Plus. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and check out the Book of Boba Fett is going to come out just before, just as we're talking about this, the Book of Boba Fett is out. So I know we're looking forward to that as well. Got to go ahead and see it. I know we're recording this just before it's out there, but also I want to go ahead and mention that The Mandalorian is going to come out eventually. I know people are excited where that series is going, but what are you looking forward to in 2022 before we head on out?
Oh my goodness. That's okay. Because I have a bad memory and I can't remember, when does the next Diablo video game come out? Is it 2022 or is it 2023?
I believe it is 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, I still play Diablo 3 weekly, if not
It is
sometimes I get
Diablo
into
Immortal, delayed to
Yes.
2022.
Yeah. I sometimes still well, I mean, I'll get on kicks where I play Diablo 3 every single day and then like once a week or whatever, but I still am playing Diablo 3. Loved it. Can't wait for it. So excited. I'm going to pre-order it.
Absolutely. But any movies, any television shows that you're looking for, excited to see?
Gosh. Gosh, I know that there's a ton of stuff coming and I know that I'm excited for all of it. I'm looking forward to the Doctor Strange movie. I think that that's going to be great. I am excited for I'm excited for Wizards and Wine to come back as a podcast in 2022.
There you
Um,
go. Great
yeah,
plug.
yeah. So we're going to wrap up Tube of Annihilation, and once that's finished, we're heading into the Feywild. We're going to play through the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So That's going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be the campaign that brings us back as a podcast, because we've been, like I say, I've been a little lax on getting audio edited and uploaded and all of that kind of stuff, but I think I found a timetable that will work. So Wizards and Wine will be back in 2022.
That's obviously one of the best things to look forward to. And then, of course, you got Warlocks and Whiskey and Vampires
Yes.
and Vitae. You do a great job there. You got Rob's Women's to Go One Shot. You also got the Demolition Force with Roger, who says he's looking forward to the Legend of Vox Machina. And then we've also got, also as well, you've got the whole everything going on with Mitch on the weekends. So a lot of great tabletop RPG action that you can go ahead and catch in the new year at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. Well, just awesome. I thank you so much for being a part of this, Melinda. I want to wish you and Rob the best in the new year. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
Please give me more Kingpin. Please. I love him as a villain so much, and I love those glimmers of, him being a good guy. And then
Glimmers.
glimmers of, and by good guy, I mean, like, you see him like truly love something or someone, or something
Well,
along those
Thanos did
lines.
too, but we
That's
saw
what
what
I mean.
happened there.
Yeah, but I mean, I understood am I a villain?
Doing that snap. Doing that
Right?
snap.
Am I a villain? I might be a villain because I seem to understand where they're all coming from.
I'm going to let Robbie Ross, your husband, answer that one for you. So, you know what? I won't even go there, but I
I
want to
love
wish.
when I can sympathize with the villain, I enjoy it. So
Okay, fair enough
yeah.
indeed. But I want to wish you and Robbie Ross all the best. Roger saying Vincent D'Onofrio is the best. Yes, he's asked to come back, so we'll see what happens with Kingpin in 2022 and beyond. Could it
Yeah.
be something? Could it be a part of Echo? Could it be part of She-Hulk? Could it be part of a new Daredevil series that's not announced yet, but we think is on the way? We'll wait and see. But I have a feeling that even after the events of Hawkeye, we'll be seeing Kingpin sometime 2022 or sometime in the MCU. I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Yeah, it's just too good. Just too good. But we got to talk about you and your villainous ways.
I I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that's a thing. You
You
know
got to
what?
have an evil laugh. Evil
I
laugh. Evil laugh.
I also like the anti-hero more than I like the hero.
Okay. All right. Well, you got to
So
have an evil laugh. You got to have an evil laugh. You're going to be a villain.
I'll work on it.
Okay.
I'm
Fair.
sure I have a cackle somewhere that would work.
All right. All right. I'll let Robbie answer that one as well.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But I want to wish you and Robbie and also Roger and everyone out there that's watched and listened to us over the course of the past year all the best. I want to wish you a fantastic and safe and healthy 2022. What are your thoughts out there on what you would love to see in 2022, what you're looking forward to? We want to hear your thoughts. Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your social media, and of course at popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, Melinda, cannot thank you enough for being part of today's show, being part of the stuff that we do here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, and wishing everybody a wonderful and fantastic 2022. So for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse and the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great 2022 and a great day.